Welcome to part 2 of the Box2D tutorial where we have an angry cake. Right now it's a bird. We're eventually going to convert it into a cake that's angry at cupcakes. I'm going to drop in the background to illustrate one of the problems I had. So the background is background.webp and okay. Let's just add the background. So background we're going to add a Sprite component. And the Sprite component is going to have a sprite. Background web p. So because we're not using tiles or anything, this line is a little bit lower. So it looks like it's kind of penetrated into it. So we can just maybe adjust it. It's a percentage of the, I'm using a percentage of the game size, so it's just trial and error here. Okay, so now it's lined up perfectly. And I only know this because I was just fiddling around with it. There's other ways to do this, but for this tutorial, it's probably the fastest. So if we add a little sprite to our player here, it'll look like a normal player. So for the ground, since I have it nicely lined up, we don't need we don't need to render the line, although it's barely visible. Okay. Okay, no line. Looks good. Let's work on our player here. So the player is a component, right? So it's a Flame2D Flame component. So we'll have the override, the onload method in here, which we can override. Oops. Onload async. Okay. Now we can add our sprite in here. We're going to add it as a sprite component. And the sprite component, we want to apply a sprite, so we will load the sprite. Load sprite. And it's the name, what is too much? Name of the file, which I guess we'll use the Angry Bird. Equals size will equal, let's see, how big is the player? Player is 3. Vector 2 dot all, and so the 3 is the radius, so the actual width of the player is 6, and we will set the anchor point, and we'll set it to anchor center. Let's take a look at it. So it's the sprite component, and we're putting these properties to the sprite component. One is the sprite, right? So this red is the just a graphic of this angry looking bird. Then we have the size 6 here. It's just double the radius, right? So the diameter is two times the radius, and then the anchor point is the center, so it's just the center, line it up center to center. Then we have an angry bird. Boom. Okay. Now we can set the render body to false since we're using the graphic itself to see where we're at. Boom. So we want to add some velocity to our player. Whoop. So I added this tappable mix into the player, and we will need to add the mix in for has tappable to the game. So now I should be able to tap on the player. We'll put it at the end. So this is still within the player class. Override on tap down. Is it coming up? Tap down info. We're going to apply a linear impulse with a vector. So a negative y vector will have it be pushed up, go upwards. Okay, that's the error. Should be linear impulse. Linear. Okay, there we go. We'll give them a little bit more push here. All right, so at this stage, we just need to make some body components for these crates, maybe the barrel, and then we'll put the pig on top of it, and then stack it up here. So when we launch the bird, it'll hit the tower. All right, so let's create another class. We have one for ground, and we have one for the player, but we don't have one for any obstacles. So let's create a class for obstacle. And similar to all the other body components, so just extend the body component. It'll be red because we need to return a body here. But in order to return the body, we need to first build the body, right? So let's first create the body. And this is going to be a square. So it'll be, when we create the shape, we're going to use a polygon shape. So we have 3 different shapes right now. We have the polygon shape, we have the edge shape right here, and then the bird, the player, is a circle shape. So this is the 3rd type of shape. The shape is from the Forge2D package. And the polygon shape has a bunch of vertices. We're going to have to specify the corners, the 4 corners of our rectangle, because we're building like a rectangle around a crate or something to make it easier to stack. So there's 4 vector points. 2, 2. We're creating the 4 corners of it, and then now that we have the vertices, and if you so it's 4 units wide, and you may have to play around with it to get the, you may be able to look funny initially, but I think it's pretty obvious once you display it whether it's you formed it properly or not. And we need the fixture definition. Oh, we need a shape. We're going to apply friction. Okay. Now we can make our body definition. Body def. Oh, body def. It's going to be very similar to the previous body definition we have there. This one we're going to pass in a position. Okay, since I'm here, I'm going to also have it bring in the sprite. Okay. So this second position is this one right here, right? In the constructor, we're gonna have to pass in the position and a sprite. And here we can define the body type, which will be dynamic, right? It's you can move around, or if it hits something, it will move. Okay. Now we can return the body. Return world create the body, and the body requires a body definition, and we attach the fixture. Nice. Okay, so now we can create some of these obstacles if we pass in the sprite and the position to each obstacle. We're going to add it right here in the onload method. We'll put it at the end. Obstacle. So it's requiring a position and a sprite and position. Maybe we'll go like 40 and 0. And for the sprite, we'll have we'll load a sprite. And we'll use the crate. Okay. Looks like I made a little triangle here. I want to push it out more too. Okay, now I have a square. We can add the sprite to it. Ground. Obstacle. Override. Future void on load. Async. Await. We're going to add a sprite component. And the sprite will be the sprite that we just passed in. We'll make the anchor center. Anchor center. And we'll set the size to the size of the square, which is 4. Size equals vector to all 4. So I know it's 4 because the delta between these 2 points is 4. Nice. Can probably set the render body to false. Okay, let's put a barrel on it too. I think I called it barrel. Yep. We can put the pig on top. I think the pig is web P. Oh, pig. Thanks for joining us from Silicon Valley, California. It's a hobby for me, and I'm quite interested in learning where you're from. So if you have a moment, just drop a note in the comments and let me know where you're watching the tutorial from. Have a great day.